Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm checking out the Runcam Night Eagle FPV camera off the back of a video that I did on my night vision setup where I took a HS1177 FPV camera in conjunction with the CJL Tech IR4 night vision IR emitter and also a Mobius camera with a modified lens on it that has the IR block removed. This time I'm doing exactly the same, except I have stuck on the Runcam Night Eagle. It's a request that I had a lot in the comments of the previous video, and there's just a couple of things that I want to mention with this setup as well. So the guys at CJL Tech commented on my night vision video and mentioned a couple of things that I had missed. The first one is that the emitter here actually has got a glow-in-the-dark logo on here, so if you actually lose it in long grass or whatever, or in the pitch black, should I say, because you probably wouldn't find it in long grass, then this actually does glow in the dark quite well, so it helps you to find it. However, I'm hoping that it doesn't fly off my quadcopter in the flight, and we have got some LEDs underneath here that should help me find it anyway. And another thing that they mentioned as well is that you can set up the exposure lock now on the Mobius, and if you put your sort of hand over the lens when you boot it up, you can press the mode button for 3 seconds and it will sort of flash and it will lock the exposure there. So I'm going to try that out as well. So let's get the DVR going on the Fat Sharks and get this recording. And one thing that I love about this system is I don't have to rush because it's always dark. So the first test that I did was the Night Eagle just on its own, so no IR emitter here. All I have is the lighting from the street lights, and I have to say I was completely blown away by it. That's not to say that you could fly with this in pitch darkness. You can see there that as the quadcopter yaws around, the field becomes pitch black, and all I'm able to see really is the lighting of the estate. And you can see that very dark there for the field, but I have to say, not unflyable. I was absolutely blown away by it. Now, of course, this camera is monochrome, so if you want to fly with it in the daytime, it is black and white, whereas with the HS1177, it does switch into color when it is daylight. So there is that to bear in mind. If you are using this setup, you're probably going to want to keep it as a complete night vision setup rather than flying it in the daytime, but you could fly it in the daytime. And then this is a test that I did, just moving the emitter into shot there. So you can see I have got the emitter to the right, and I'm slowly going to bring it into shot, and you can see there that although the Night Eagle can see the field, without it, it is much more illuminated when I bring the emitter into shot. So it does have an effect, but it's not as great as I was expecting. I could definitely get a similar view from the HS1177 with the emitter as well. And I'm going to point it up to the tree there, so that's without the emitter, and then with the emitter you can see that it definitely makes a difference there. So I do a couple of different tests, trying different angles and things, seeing if I could point the emitter slightly upwards, and that did work. You can see there the entire field is getting lit by the emitter, and also the trees at the back there. So it is important to have it at a slight angle actually to get the best effect out of it. You can see a couple of stars there as well, and also my breath. And then the next test that I did, this was locking the exposure on the Mobius, just like the CJL Tech guys said to try, and I have to say I wasn't too impressed with it. I noticed that there was a lot of ISO noise compared to not doing that, and I didn't find that I could see much further, so I don't think I'm going to be doing this for my perfect setup. I'm going to be having the exposure on automatic, because I didn't think that that did a lot in my opinion. So I noticed that there was a lot of sort of washy picture as well. Now this is the setup that I went with. So we have the emitter on board with the Mobius with its auto exposure, and then you can see slightly on the FPV footage at the top right, and I will blow that up to full screen in a minute. Using this camera with the emitter, there was a slight artifact, and I think this is the camera reflecting some of the IR light because it's very close to it. But you can see the ground is lit up so much better, and this means that you can fly in complete pitch darkness, which this section of the field is, and I couldn't do that when just using the Night Eagle on its own. And then this is what the Mobius sees. So the Mobius is not designed to be a night vision camera, but I thought I'd give a bit of a punch out there so you could see the nice lights. There's a slight pink tinge to the lights. That is because the IR block is removed. But I was pretty pleased with this setup, I have to say, and I have no problems at all now flying in the dark with this camera. I think with the IR emitter and the Night Eagle, you do get a slightly better view, but not as much as I thought. I thought that you would be able to see, well, like daylight really, and it's not far up actually. But the difference, I guess, between the HS1177 and the Night Eagle, in conjunction with an IR emitter, is not that great, but it's still fantastic. So I think the Night Eagle costs about £64, and the IR4 costs about £64 as well, so not a cheap setup by any means, but it's a lot of fun, and it's dark a lot of the time in the winter here, so I'll be using this setup a lot. I might try and experiment with different HD cameras, because I think that this lens mount for the Mobius may fit some other cameras, maybe the Foxeer Legend, but really none of these action cameras are designed to work in the dark, so I'm not expecting great results out of them. But I think it is better having the HD cam on top than nothing at all, so that you can enjoy both the footage back. And I'm noticing that, you see, I'm getting a slight flicker on both of the cameras at the same time, and this happened towards the end of the flight. Let's see if we can catch it doing it again. There, do you see? Both of the cameras flicker, and I think what is happening there is maybe the voltage is getting a bit low on the battery, and the IR emitter is cutting out. Either that, or I have a loose solder joint. There it goes again. Wasn't doing it before, so it may be that my solder joint has become loose, or there's something become faulty with the emitter. And I put that question out to the CJL Tech guys. If you are watching this video, do you get that with this emitter, or is it potentially a bad solder joint or something that I have done wrong? I would love to see that in the comments, because I haven't done anything different than the last time. I guess I'm using graphene batteries. That shouldn't make a difference. And I did a couple of flights before this and wasn't getting the flickering. It was only on this last flight I was getting flickering, so probably a bad solder joint. I'll have to check that out. I really hope that it's not the emitter, because I haven't used it that much. And, you know, they're quite expensive, and I've got quite attached to it. But there you go, that is my review of the Runcam Night Eagle and also the IR4 in conjunction. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.